It feels weird to say it, but I'd honestly rather play the RE3 remake again. That game pissed all over the legacy of RE3, but Village just guts the entire Resident Evil experience.
Huh? What? Alright, hey guys, this is a response video to UnderTheMayo's Resident Evil Village. So disappointing, it's scary. I'm mostly making this response because I really enjoyed Village, and he said very little good about the game. He pretty much acted like it was the worst in the world. It was a terrible Resident Evil game. Like that being said, a Resident Evil game. And yeah, I just want to go through some of his parts in the video and maybe add my 2 cents or maybe counter opinions to such statements. But overall, I'm also making this video because I love game balance. I love game design. It's just a fun field to debate in because you're debating over a game. There's no value to it. There's nothing serious behind it. It's like I'll never debate politics or any of that boring nonsense. I just want to talk about games. So yeah, this is going to be a short video. I'm going to go through what popped out to me the most.
In similar fashion to RE7, we have a long intro. Thankfully, this time around we can skip the cutscenes. You still have to do the walking bits, but they aren't that bad. I appreciate a slow setup to a horror game, it's fine. It just goes too far.
And I can't agree more. The intro is way too long in this game. It's fine your first time playing through, but your second and third time, oh my god, it's just the absolute worst. It's probably my least favorite thing about this game. Alright, next question. Or next topic.
God, you know what? I hate this field of view. It's giving me a headache. I can't see anything.
I completely agree, but I can understand why Capcom made it the way they did. Designers have to think about things that the players don't have to think about. For example, my theory is Capcom made your field of view low because it added to the fearing and scary experience. If your field of view was 103, which is very popular for FPSs, you would be able to see a lot more. And someone like me who's on PC, I would be able to freaking do a 360 in 1 second and already have a clear view of everything in front of me. The field of view was annoying, but it really did add to the difficulty and suspense of the gameplay. So I can understand why Capcom did that, and I respect them for it.
Unfortunately, they are one of only 4 enemy types in the entire game.
I'm mentioning this part because I didn't think about this on my first or second playthrough, but he's totally right. There's not many unique enemies in the game. I'm not sure if just because they have enough time or resources, or they just don't want to add more because it would be hard to add these monsters that also fit in with the lore. You know, it's like you're gonna add some fat frog, and he's like, oh, he drank from the village well and he turned to a frog. You know, but yeah, he's totally right on this one.
When enemies die, you'll notice that they drop items, usually treasure. So they brought back the RE4 style of gameplay where combat is incentivized. One of the reasons I wouldn't call this a survival horror game. It's not survival horror when the game gives you treats for killing everything.
This is an interesting topic because part of the reasons why I think Village is so genius is because I've never seen a game combine horror and action so well before. Your first playthrough feels like a survival horror or horror, depending on your actual definition of what a survival horror is compared to horror game. While your second playthrough, once you have done the mercenaries mode, unlock some stuff, buy some ammo, it's like a new game plus, and you can buy stacks of ammo now, it pretty much is more of an action game. So your first playthrough feels like a horror game, while your second playthrough feels like an action game. And I think that's really cool that Capcom pulled it off, because I can't think of another game that has done such thing before. Another big thing you have to take into consideration with Resident Evil Village, how do I say this? Not everyone's going to be good at games like Mayo. So, you know, if you have FPS experience or know how to play games well, when you're playing Village, when you can land every shot, that's naturally going to make the game a little less scary. But for a player who doesn't play games, doesn't know how to check corners, doesn't know how basic movement works, doesn't know animation canceling, doesn't know is the comfortable weapon swapping, combat could be a little more scary for them on the first playthrough. You know, it's just how it works. When you get good at something, the fear is gone. And since Village has a skill cap since the very beginning, players who are naturally better at games might be less scared during combat because, well, They're just good. Alright, next topic, because this one could go on forever. The one I just talked about.
You're led to the big open area of the village, and if you're a Resident Evil fan, you may find yourself thinking, nice, I get to explore this village. And you can't be blamed for thinking that. Important items could be found in different orders depending on your exploration path. You may find puzzle items that you don't understand until much later. You just know they're important. That's a key part of the Resident Evil experience. Village is, for the most part, if not entirely, a linear experience.
Basically he's saying that Resident Evil Village has no exploration in terms of story, which is pretty much true. The game just goes straight on through if you want to go straight on through, you know, just keep going, keep going, keep going. But I like that the exploration in this game is all optional. You never get stuck or frustrated knowing where to go, but if you feel like it, you can go backtrack and find some stuff. But these topics are always so difficult because it's all about the personal opinion of the evolution of a video game. For example, if Resident Evil Village played just like Resident Evil 1, a lot of people would be happy about it, but a lot of people would be like, well, this is just the same thing, this is stupid. But then you have Village, which they explored and tried something different. It was really good, but a lot of people say, this is stupid, this is not a Resident Evil game. It's an endless loophole. But at the end of the day, I think Resident Evil Village did it well, and yeah, it definitely feels like a Resident Evil game to me, and the Resident Evil experience was never ruined.
Decision making. There isn't much of it. Crafting materials don't take up any space at all. That means green herbs, chem fluid, metal scrap, and gunpowder don't occupy your inventory and can always be picked up. They seem to stack infinitely in a separate crafting menu. If these items took up inventory space, it would greatly add to the concept of inventory management.
I agree, but I don't think it's a really fair complaint, because yes, if we all had to choose a Resident Evil game that had the least amount of inventory management, it would be this one. But at the same time, if someone would ask me, hey Eric, did the old Resident Evil games have, you know, in-depth decision-making inventory? I'd be like, no, it was just annoying. You go to your box, put the herb in the box, go back to that room, get some item, come back to the box, go to a new room, realize you have no space. Alright, time to go back to my box again. It wasn't like decision-making, it was just a chore.
Why even have limited inventory space at this point? Just give me endlessly deep pockets and forget about it.
While you're not wrong, you have to realize people that hate Village, how much more hatred they would have for Village if there was never the classic inventory system. Could you imagine the forums? People just type in, this isn't a Resident Evil game, it doesn't even have the classic inventory system. So yeah, it was smart of Capcom to at least still have it in Village, whether if it was really needed or not.
Now, in Village, just keep lockpicks on you all the time, unlock every drawer you come across, and who cares what's inside, you already have so much.
Who cares what's inside? I care what's inside, dude. My first playthrough, I wasted so many shots on accident, or I'd waste ammo killing the mini-boss. So the times I would find a lockpick, and I knew where one of those drawers were, I was excited to get some shotgun shells or handgun ammo. Maybe that's only my experience, but hey, that's my experience. I like the new lockpicks.
We take an elevator up, walk along a set path outside, and get confronted by Lady Dimitrescu in a section where we just have to open the exit door and run away, into a room that gives us the first head for the statue puzzle from the main hall of the castle. Moving forward, we have a music puzzle, which might be the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen. If you can read music, you'll solve this immediately. If you can't, all you have to do is count the spaces between the notes and play them accordingly. Find the first note, count 3 down, so you go 3 keys to the left and press that note. Count up 2 spaces, so you go 2 keys right, and so on. Hooray, you did it. You can count. Follow the crawl space, fight the last witch, and grab the animal skull off the wall.
You know, at this point, I'm sad that your first experience with Village was so bad, because the first clip I used with, I'm just gonna call it Lady, I can never say her name, with Big Lady, I didn't know I had to go back to my hand and hit the switch, and then it starts, you realize the door slowly opens, so you're freaking out, trying to survive until the gate opens, and then you get through. The second part, with the piano, I really enjoyed that part. It was small, it was subtle. I don't know how to read music, but I still found it fun to mess around with it until I got it. The song was nice. I really liked that small moment. As for the third fight, you didn't mention how that was the first time they introduced the exploding wall mechanic, so that was kind of you have to figure it out because they give you a pipe bomb and you look around and you're like, oh, there's a crack in the wall after you move the drawer side. So, I don't know. I feel like you just want to hate this game, to be honest. I love it. Plenty of people love it. I hope you can maybe be a little more positive about it. It's a good game. Yeah, like, come on, Mayo. The game's not that bad as you say. Come on. I see how you don't like it, but it's not like turd, like pure dog turd. What's funny, looking back at this short video I made and just going through his video again, is how much I agree with him on said topics, yet to me they made the game better. And yet it didn't ruin the Resident Evil experience with me. Life is funny, right, guys? How it's all about that just personal taste and how you say things. Life is strange. But yeah, hope you guys like this video, and I will see you guys around.